to my channel. This is your girl Raven here, and today I am here with another book review. Now I know that I said I was not going to do another review or even continue reading this book, but I did. And the book I am talking about is After We Collided by Anna Todd. It is book 2 in the After series. So I read it because I was watching other people's videos, and I went online and I was reading comments and people's reviews, and I really wanted to see if people felt the same way that I did. Like, did people really think that this is okay? Like, being in a toxic relationship was okay? Like, this is supposed to be relationship goals? So there was a lot of people that felt the same way that I do about the book being trash, and that it's a prime example of a toxic relationship. How Tessa doesn't have a backbone or anything, you know, and Hardin is just a prick, and everybody is just really confused at how other people like this book. But there are people that actually like this book, and I was reading that people were saying there's actual meaning behind it, and also people were saying like it gets better each book. Like every book, the book gets better, and in order to fully understand the story, you have to read all of them. You can't just base your whole opinion on the first book alone, because yeah, the first book sucks, but it's going to get better. So I'm just like, wow. And I'm looking like, well, I'm pretty sure I could predict what's going to happen. Tessa obviously going to get back with Hardin. They're going to break up again. They're going to have sex and get back together. Then they're going to break up again, and then they're going to have sex and get back together. And it's going to keep on happening throughout the books. And eventually, you know, he's going to start changing for the better, all because of Tessa. And they're going to get married and have children and live happily ever after. Predictable. I'm calling it. Actually, I've been saying this the entire time, and spoiler alert, like when I googled it, this is exactly what happened. I'm like, see, so predictable, but okay. So I feel like the only reason that people really like this book is because Hardin changed, and I feel like I could get where they're coming from if there was some type of emotional development in the book. I would probably, no, I pretty much would not, because I still think that Hardin is abusive and controlling and everything like that. But I would probably understand Tessa a lot more if I was able to see her relationship with Hardin. Like, their relationship is so good, and why so many people in this book is supporting this relationship. There's never no emotional development. There's no type of history. The only thing that we're consistently seeing is Hardin like emotionally and mentally abusing Tessa, and she takes it, and they have sex. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on some pros of the book. Some things that I do like about the book is that we do get to hear Hardin's point of view. We get to get inside his head, get his perspective on different things, how he's feeling and everything. And I do like that. The only thing I don't like about this though is the simple fact that they build up the intensity, especially whenever it's Hardin scene. They build up the intensity and then they take it away. So it's all on Hardin, like his perspective, and we're like, oh, okay, and then it jumps to Tessa, and it's like, and then we lose that intensity, and that becomes very annoying and frustrating to me, because it's like, can we just finish what he had to say, like his perspective, and then go to Tessa? But yeah, so in book 2, it pretty much picks up where it left off after we found out about the bet, and Tessa is homeless. She has nowhere to live, so she decides that she is going to go to a motel, and coincidentally her co-worker Trevor is staying in the hotel as well, because he's having plumbing issues. Her car ends up breaking down and she needs a way to work, and Trevor was that person to take her to work, of course. Now Hardin becomes like a stalker. Like, he kept calling her, he called her job, and then when she's leaving work and she's waiting to see if Trevor would give her a ride back to the motel. Guess who we see? We see Hardin, and Hardin sees Tessa with Trevor, and it pisses him off, and it leads to him questioning her why she's with Trevor. And I don't know why, but she gives him an explanation, even though she said, like, I don't need to tell you anything, but she did. And he's like, well, why is he at the motel too? Is he staying with you? Like, why is he giving you a ride? What's wrong with your car? Well, I'll just take it and get it fixed for you. And she's just like, no, like, bruh, stop it. And so she ends up, he's like, well, I could follow you to the motel. And she's just like, no, Hardin, like, I'm good. And then she goes and she leaves with Trevor. So, say we found out about this bet on Sunday. By Friday, Tessa and Hardin had sex again. And I'm just like, really, Tessa? Really? So let me tell you how this took place to begin with. So apparently, Tessa is such a fantastic reader. Like, she's such an amazing person. She's the best intern ever. She's better than the employees, actually. She's just an intern. And, you know, she's offered an opportunity by Christian Van to go to a business meeting with them. And all expenses paid. And I'm looking like, hey, like, are y'all hiring? Because I mean, I could be an intern, a paid intern at that, and I could read books too. Like, forget working this 9-to-5 life. I could just do this fun, and I get to travel. Psh, bitch, yas. So anyways, like, she goes on this trip or whatever, business trip. Trevor's there. Kim is there. I know it's itch. And Christian is there. So they go to the club one night, and Tessa gets hella wasted. She makes out with a random guy. Then she goes into like the bathroom or whatever, and she calls Hardin. Hardin's like, Tessa, what's wrong? And she's just up here talking about how she had the drink sex on the beach, and that could be them. She's like, this could be us, but you decided to go and fuck everything up. And he's like, Tessa, are you drunk? And she's just like, yeah. And he's like, how many drinks did you have? And she's like 6. And then I'm like, Tessa, really? He's like, where are you? And she's like, don't worry about it. You know, it's none of your business, blah, blah, blah. And he ends up coming. So Trevor is actually in Tessa's room because they accidentally had each other's phone, so they were switching back. And a knock was on the door. She opens the door. It was Hardin. Hardin, of course, is pissed off, and he wants to fuck Trevor up because he's in the room with her. And so Tessa's like, Trevor, just go. Like, it's okay, just leave. And he starts like grilling. Like, Hardin starts grilling Tessa, like, why the hell was he in here? What was he doing? Did you kiss him? Did you have sex? Did you do this? Did you do that? Why are you still dressed? Blah, blah, blah. And in the meantime, he's looking at the dress like, wow, she looks so good in this dress. I want to bend her over and fuck her right now. Like, I'm just like, yo, really? At this point, Tessa is just like really horny, and she's throwing herself at him, and he's like, nah, like, not under the circumstances, you know, I want to, but you're drunk. She's like, either you gonna fuck me right now or you get the hell out. And he's just like, hey, you ain't gotta tell me twice. In the morning time, Tessa wake up and she's just like, oh my gosh, Hardin, you took advantage of me. And he was like, do you hate me? And he was like, but in my defense, you were throwing yourself at me. And I'm just like, really, Hardin, like, whether because Tessa knows what happened. She knows that her and him had sex, and she remembers how she was acting. But it was still the principle that he knew that she was drunk, and he still took advantage. Like, he could have said no. Even though he did keep saying no, but he didn't have to have sex. He could have left, you know. He could have been like, okay, we're going to get you to bed or something, like calm her down, whatever. He did not have to have sex with her, and he did. So basically, this dude assaults her. So, like, after, like, this whole thing in Seattle, it's now entering into the new week. It's Tessa's birthday week and also Christmas. And her plan originally was to go home for the holidays, but her mom, like, pissed her off, so she decided not to go. And she just decided she was going to stay at Hardin's place since he's going to be out of town in London. So while she's there, she cleans up and stuff, you know, and she hears the door open. It's Hardin and his mother, Trish. They're there. And so basically, Tessa and Hardin decides, you know, I know we're not together, but let's pretend that we're together because my mom really loves you and she is so excited to meet you and she's so happy about our relationship, woo woo woo. And this actually leads to them getting back together. You're going to get back together with him. We're just going to ignore the fact that last week he took your virginity and he showed all the evidence to the friends. So in the midst of this, we find out that Hardin has a history of doing this to women. Not necessarily taking their virginity, because the other girls that he did it to wasn't virgins, but he does do this. So when he was in London, he did this to 5 different women. Him and his friends decided to make a bet to see who was going to fuck a girl first or whatever, right? And so they did this 5 times and they decided that they needed to have some type of evidence. So they filmed whenever they were having sex with these girls and they would show it to one another. So the 5th girl name was Natalie and Hardin had sex with her. He recorded it and then he showed his friends, and one of his friends wanted to have sex with Natalie. So he went there to go try to have sex with her, but she rejected him and it pissed him off and he ended up leaking the tape, and then it got around like through the town or whatever, and her mother and father found out about it and kicked her out, and then she ended up losing her scholarship and then she had nothing and nowhere to go, and so she went to Hardin and Hardin wouldn't help her. So now, you know, her life was ruined. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in book 1 we learned that Dan and Hardin, they had some type of beef, and Tessa was trying to find out what happened and why they have beef. Come to find out, Hardin has slept with Dan's sister and filmed it, and Dan found out, and that's why they have beef. So Hardin did this to a total of 7 women, and Tessa decides to forgive him because she says he's not the same person that he used to be. He changed so much and it was for the better, you know, and he has all this stuff going on in his life and, you know, he doesn't know how to deal with it, making hella excuses. And I'm like, Tessa, he did this shit to you last week and you talking about he changed my ass. So yeah, so that's that. And then in this series, we continue to see more of the abusive side of Hardin. He ends up beating up his dad because he picked a fight with his dad, and he like basically started punching him, and so someone came up behind him, and that someone was Tessa, and he like did like this, I'm assuming, and knocked her over, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I thought it was Landon, blah blah blah, like it's supposed to justify like it was okay because you shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody in the first place. But okay. So Tessa brushed it off. It happens again like later on because Tessa is at Zed's house and Landon just barge into the house and see them sleeping together, and it pisses Hardin off. So him and Zed started fighting, like he was attacking Zed and she's just trying to get him to get off, and he's trying to like beat him up and everything, and in the midst of like attacking Zed, he ends up hitting Tessa again. And I'm just like, Tessa, are you learning anything now? And he's just like so apologetic, and Zed is like, look, you need to go before I call the police. Hardin is like, I'm not leaving, I'm not going anywhere unless Tessa's coming with me. Tessa's like, I'm not going anywhere with you, Hardin, just go. And eventually she caves in like, fine, I'm going to go. Zed's like, no, you don't need to go, like I'll just call the police. She's like, no, he's going to stay here until I leave. And sure enough, she ended up leaving. Then at the very end of the book, like he attacks Zed again, shows up in the science building and just like started beating him up, like broke his nose, gave him a concussion, and it was so bad to the point that if he had slammed Zed's head one more time, Zed would have died. So I'm looking like, so there's a pattern, there's a cycle of him abusing people, yet Tessa still keep making excuses for this. Like there's a scene where Trevor asks Tessa like, hey, has Harden ever put his hands on you? And it pissed Tessa off. She got so mad, like, how dare you say that about Harden? He would never do that. He would never physically hurt me and blah blah blah. And it was like she kept doing it like she's trying to convince herself. Like, to me, that's what it felt like. She's trying to convince herself that he would never put his hands on her. And I'm just like, girl, you don't know that. You be thinking you know someone, but you really don't. Like, their true colors start to show eventually. So I'm just like, girl, goodbye. Like, he was just looking out for you. He was just being a good friend, and you're just being so freaking stupid. Like, get the fuck on somewhere. And I can't sympathize with her because she's stupid. Like, I feel like she's there, since there's no emotional buildup, like, I can't sympathize. There's no history. Yeah, so Harden is pretty much showing his true colors in this point. He's very controlling. He tries to tell Tessa who she can and can't be friends with. He wants her to, like, end her friendship with Zed. And Tessa feels like, you know, I understand why, because Zed has feelings for her. And he told her this, and she always have the habit of running to Zed whenever there's a problem. But, like, she just feels like it's very disrespectful for Harden. So she does need to end her relationship or end whatever they had going on, because Tessa and Zed were kind of sort of dating. They ended up leaving for 11 days and going to London. Tessa didn't know this. She was staying at Landon's house, you know, at the time, and she tried reaching out to him. He wasn't returning her phone calls or anything like that, so she felt some type of way. She cried. She didn't go to work for a couple days, and eventually she got back out and started, like, hanging out. And so she started spending a lot of time with Zed, and they kissed. You know, they kissed. And he even took her out to, like, the science building and showed her some glow-in-the-dark flowers where she thought it was cute. She kind of compared and contrasted Harden and Zed, you know, and everything. And they decided that they were going to take whatever they had slow and eventually get there. So, you know, Zed is, like, happy about this. You know, I'm cool with taking this slow. But eventually, Harden comes back, and guess who she runs to? She runs to her master. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. There was also, like, a scene where on Christmas Eve, Tessa and Harden went to the mall, and they ran into Steph and Tristan. And Steph was trying to apologize to Tessa for not telling her about the bet. And Steph is just, like, not having it. Like, why should I forgive you? You betrayed me. And Steph is like, bitch, you can't forgive me, but you could get back with Harden, and it was his idea. And she's just thinking in her head, like, well, me and Harden are not back together, and I didn't forgive him. You know, I'm just figuring it out. And she was like, I'll think about it. Like, I'll think about it. And she ended up being friends with her again because she realized she didn't have no friends besides Landon. But in particular, she did not have no friends that were female. Gets inside, when we are inside of Harden's head, he does realize how much of a fuck up he is. And that was his whole reasoning for just leaving for those 11 days in the first place, was because he feels like he's such a huge fuck up and Tessa doesn't deserve to be with anyone like him. So yeah, he knows. He's definitely aware of this, and he knows he shouldn't be punching things and punching people and attacking, you know, everybody. But he still does it to begin with. And I'm just like, Harden, we all have issues. Like, we all have issues in our fucking lives. That is not an excuse to go punch people and, like, act the way that you do. And everybody is rooting for Tessa and Harden's relationship because, like, many times throughout the series, you would hear, like, people say, Tessa and Harden, like, you guys are bad together, but that's why you guys belong together. And I'm like, how the fuck does that make sense? Like, how the fuck does that even make sense? You guys are so bad together, but that's why, you know, you belong together. And even, like, it was a scene where Stephanie was telling Tessa that her and Tristan are talking about moving in with one another. And Tessa's like, really? Like, you know. Steph is like, yeah, you know, we didn't want to move in after 3 months because that's too early. That's crazy. And Tess felt some type of way. She was like, oh, well, you know, it's different for you guys because you and Hardin are different. And Tessa's just like, yeah, we're different. And I'm just like, how the fuck are y'all different? Like, bitch, get the fuck on. Hardin, like, tricked Tessa into even moving in with her in the first place because that was his way of controlling her, knowing her every movement. Like, when she doesn't call, like, by a certain time, he's feeling some type of way. Where you at? Why didn't you call me? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yo, chill, bruh. Don't get me started on Tessa, okay? Because there's all these issues with Tessa, but Tessa has issues too. And so let me tell you, she is the biggest hypocrite of all times. I said this in my first video that she's a hypocrite. The second video, we're hearing it now. So, remember in book 1, she was doing all this slut shaming? Well, we're in book 2 and she's slut shaming again. And so there's a scene where like her and Hardin are in yoga class, and there's this girl that's sitting right next to them, and Hardin is talking about like how he can't do something, and the girl was just like, just try it. And it pissed Tessa off. Like, she called her a slut. And I'm looking like, how you gonna call her a slut? She calls everybody a slut in here. Even though she, like, okay, she changed the way she dresses. She's not even wearing them long skirts like she used to anymore. She wearing short dresses. Wait till you guys get to book 3. She wearing short dresses, titties out, and all that stuff, you know. And she don't feel like she's a slut. She doesn't feel like she's a whore. But if other people wear it, they're a slut or they're a whore. Even with her wearing yoga pants, like, oh, I'm not a slut because I'm wearing yoga pants, but you're a slut because you're wearing yoga pants. And like, everything that Tessa wears, and this is why I say their relationship is based off of sex. Everything that Tessa wears, like, he's thinking about bending her over and fucking her. Every fucking thing. And it's so fucking annoying. Wait, guys, I'm not done yet. So there's a scene where Tessa and Hardin is at a party, right? And Tessa says, hey, let's play truth or dare. Hardin's just like, no. She's like, yes, we're playing truth or dare. Tessa's like, I'm a star. So guess what this hoe says? She goes, Molly, is it true that you're a whore? And Molly was like, no. And then Tessa's like, the game is called Truth or Dare, so you have to tell the truth. I'm like, bitch, if I was fucking Molly, I would have got my ass up, hauled off, and beat the shit out of this bitch. Like, you are not about to sit here and call me a whore. Like, bitch, bye. So, like, Molly was like, Tessa, truth or dare? Tessa was like, truth. And so Molly was like, is it true that you're a weak ass bitch because you took a man back after he was paid to take your virginity? It was something along those lines like that, she said. And at that point, Tessa got pissed the hell off that her ass got up, ran over there, and attacked Molly and started beating her up. And I'm like, so like a little bit earlier in the book, I was like, Tessa needs to write out a list, a pros and a con list about Hardin. Like, a few chapters later, guess what? She made a list, and it was the pros and the cons. So her cons outweighed the good, and the good that she had said that Hardin did for her was he made her feel confident. She was comfortable in her skin, and she feels so much stronger. I said, bitch, there ain't nothing about you that strong. You a weak ass bitch. And I hate to say that about people, but you're weak. You're freaking weak because you can't even stand up to this dude. You can't even stand up to him and say when you don't want to have sex, you can't even say no. You cave into it anyways. You're a weak ass bitch. You're the weakling. Goodbye. Honestly, it was just so annoying. So you guys remember when I said that Hardin had beat Zed up to the point that he could have died? Well, Hardin ended up getting put in like a holding cell on the campus, like security police thingy, whatever. And it's serious, okay? It's serious. This dude could get expelled. So Tessa is like, let me go to the hospital, let me go talk to Zed, and let me try to convince him not to press charges. This bitch literally had the audacity to go up to him and be like, hey, so are you gonna press charges? And Zed is like, yeah, why wouldn't I? He nearly killed me. And she was like, please don't press charges. You know, I know you guys have your differences and stuff like that. He's just been through so much in his life. And, you know, if you press charges, he would go to jail. And I'm just like, Tessa, are you fucking serious? He almost killed him. Like, yo, Tessa, I want to strangle you so badly. Like, I want to watch you die. Like, I sound like a crazy person. I just like, it's just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much everything that happened. The last and final scene is because Tessa is supposed to be moving to Seattle because, you know, the whole publishing company, they have another location in Seattle, and Christian Vaughn and what's her name, Kim, they're going to that location, and also Trevor. So she wants to go as well. So she asked like if she could go, and they said yeah, and they're leaving in 2 weeks. So Tessa's just like, okay, like I'm gonna go too. And she has yet to tell Hardin because obviously she's scared. And yeah, Tessa's telling everybody that Hardin is moving too because she plans on trying to convince Hardin to move, but Hardin doesn't want to go. And he literally keeps saying that he doesn't want to move to Seattle or anything. He doesn't like Seattle. He doesn't want to go there for no apparent reason, you know, but she's just trying to hope that she's just hoping that she could change his mind. But Tessa tells Zed, like, please don't press charges because we're leaving anyways. And he's like, oh. So, yeah. Zed is like, basically like, you know, if you tell me that you don't have feelings for me, I will leave you alone and I won't press charges. And Tessa told him that, but it wasn't convincing. So the last and final scene is like they're at the tattoo parlor and Hardin is getting a tattoo. And when they're leaving, like a guy bumps into him and Tessa looks and she's like, Dad? And then it ends. So that's how it ended. And yeah, so this is a long review. I know, I'm sorry. But yeah, it was so much to say and like to summarize. And I do think this book is terrible. I am currently almost done with the 3rd book. And I'm just like, there was scenes I shouldn't even talk about it. But guys, just be on the lookout for that book review. But anyways, yeah, I do think the book is still bad. I do not really recommend this. I think this is just trying to tell people that it's okay to be in an abusive relationship because eventually he's going to change and he's doing everything that he is doing because he loves you. And this book is targeting towards teenagers. So I feel like it's a disgusting, like a disgrace of a book. And I do not feel like the book got better. Just because a little couple things changed, that does not mean that the book got better. And that's just my overall opinion. You may disagree with it. You may try to come and bash me, whatever. But I'm not changing my opinion. So that is it on this book review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the book if you like it. What is your favorite scenes? If I missed something, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys